Hello everyone, welcome back to another book review. Today I'm going to be reviewing volumes 3, 4, 5, and 6 of the Descender series. So I actually finished this all in one sitting. The last four volumes in this series. So I was just going to review them all at once. So yeah, this is Descender by Jeff Lemire. I read the first 2 volumes a couple weeks back, and my roommate was kind enough to lend me the remaining 4 volumes in this series. I really appreciate them for doing that. Yeah, this has been a really good read that I was not aware of and would not have found without their recommendation. So this just goes to show that I do take people's recommendations seriously. I will at least give it a try and see what's up with the book. Which reminds me, actually, the person who cuts my hair gave me a book recommendation that I forgot to get last time I was at the library, but I can do that later. So let's just dive right in. Start with volume 3. So the first 2 volumes we got a little bit of backstory, but mostly about Dr. Kwan, I think. Volume 3 really is just people's backstory. We get Tim 22's backstory, we get Telsa's backstory, we get Driller's backstory, we get Andy's backstory, we get Effie or Queen Between's backstory. This is just a lot of backstory. And I kind of like that they didn't dump all this information up front in like volume 1. I think that kind of can be a weak spot in comics of just like dumping all that information at once, but they got some story going, and then they put this all the backstories in this one. I did give this a 3-star. I was slightly disturbed and unnerved by this one. Yeah, this one kind of unnerved me, but other than that, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. Sometimes backstories can be hit or miss, but I was engaged. Each one lasted as long as it needed to last to give you the information you needed for the story, and I think it accomplished the goal that it needed to do. So it also has the most disturbing cover, I find, with the exception maybe of volume 4. I was kind of intrigued by volume 4. I don't know if you can see this, but his little eyes are glowing. But yeah, this is kind of a disturbing volume. That's why it has 3 stars instead of 4. But I get scared easily, so I think it's a good one. Because I'm so far in this series, I'm trying to not recap a lot of events, but kind of give my broad impression of the volumes because I don't want to spoil anything. But volumes 4 and 5 are our different factions or groups that we're following. We learn more about what the goals and the plans are of the little factions. So we have, I believe they're the UCG, kind of like the main big interplanetary group. We have the Ganeshes, I think. They're a monarchy group. We have the Hardwire, which are the robot rebellion people. We have our little group of Andy and Effie or Queen Between. We have another group, and they're also with one of their scrapper friends. Telsa and Dr. Kwan are off doing their own thing for the most part. So it's just following the stories, and we kind of see the stakes raise, things escalate. We get a little more information about these robots, or as we kind of are coming to learn, they're a little bit more than robots, hinted by the name Descender. Perhaps they're descended from something bigger than robots. So these books kind of raise the stakes and kind of explain how everything's going to come together and I should say before I move on, these are both 4-star reads. These are really good. I really enjoyed them. So these perfectly set up volume 6, which was my favorite book in the series. This might be a 5-star read. I haven't decided. 4.5-star minimum. This was a really good book. I think it was not only a good story, it wrapped everything up, but I also loved the artwork in this. Just the art in this was my favorite of the entire series. So in this volume, all of our different factions kind of converge, and we get what are we going to do with the fact that robots are still around? We've been trying to kill them for a while, and now the big robots are obviously not pleased with it. The big robots that we saw in volume 1 who kind of destroyed everything. And what is going to be the solution? What do the big robots want? Are they just going to wipe out all organic life? Are robots going to take over? Are the humans just going to finish everything completely? What's going to happen? So everything kind of culminates in this final book, and I like the way this ended. I like the for lack of a better term, solution that was implemented. I like the way it played out. I like the consequences of it. And I also liked the way that the book set you up for the next series, Ascenders, which I have not read. And again, I do not know if my roommate has it, so I do not know if I will read it. But I have to say, if the book was left here, if I don't read the next series, I think it ended very, very well. I really liked it. I liked the way it all came together at the end. I liked the personal consequences for everybody. And I like some of the bits of character growth that we saw throughout all of them. I do wish we saw a little bit more from Telsa between some major decisions she made in this book and the end, and Dr. Kwan. I wish something more had just happened with Dr. Kwan at that point. I also have to say that I was ambivalent about the romance between Effie and Andy. I really didn't care if that was there or not. I feel like they might have worked better if they were just orphans from the same orphanage together who had a bond. I don't really know if the romance added anything or made me care about the characters more, so I didn't dislike that it was in there, but I also didn't feel like it maybe added, and I also didn't feel like it added anything. So yeah, this was the best one of the series in my opinion, which is good. I'm glad that we ended on a high note. I was kind of worried about the way they were going to end the series. That's always a little dangerous. How are they going to wrap things up? Are they just going to leave you hanging? Is it going to be unsatisfactory? Are they going to leave some plots unfinished? And I think they did a really good job. I think they also, I think it was 5, we get another, I'm just going to call it a power element, another power system that's vaguely hinted at, and it's also hinted at the end of this book, and we get a little tiny taste from my favorite character in the entire book. I think his name is Mizzard. Yeah, he was actually one of my favorite characters, and I like that we just got a little hint of him, what he does, where he comes from. It was the perfect amount to keep me interested. And yeah, I wonder how much more we're going to see of him in Ascenders if he is in that series, and if not, it's going to be a really interesting puzzle just to think about. And I have to say, kind of as a conclusion, this series I think struck a really good balance between information you need to know and things in the world you need to understand, and also leaving some things unexplained, which sometimes I think can be a really good device in a story, if that makes sense. I should also add, before I get too far on my soapbox, I'm not trained in any of this. I don't know what I'm talking about. I just really like it sometimes when there are aspects of the world that are hinted at, or hey, this is here, but it's not fully explored, and particularly if they're not going to be very important to the story that's being told in the series, I think it adds an element of mystery to the world, and it kind of makes it deeper without needing to explain every little thing. Just that element of mystery, dark corners, if you will, where you don't know everything that's going on, and you might not know everything that's going on. It kind of adds depth to a story, if that makes sense, just a little bit, just in a minor way, but I really appreciate it. And I think this series did a really good job in striking that balance between what do you need to have explained to you and what can we just leave kind of open, and maybe they'll address it later, but what can we leave open for now? I think it struck a really good balance overall on this 6-volume series of Descender. I really enjoyed. Not too long. I think the story was told was very interesting. I think it ended well, which is always a good sign. And yeah, I'm interested to see if the other series that follows this one is as good as this one, or where they take it. But I would definitely read more by the artists behind this. I think it was a very good series, and yeah, I'm really glad my roommate recommended it. And I was able to have the opportunity to read these, because otherwise I would have missed out on this really good story, or at least I wouldn't have discovered it for quite a while longer. So if anyone else has read this series or has thoughts on it, or also if they can recommend the Ascender, I want to say it's called Ascenders series, which comes after this. Yeah, Ascender. Here's one of the covers for it. There's a girl with a little staff. Please let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. I'd love to hear what you think, what you thought about this, or how you found the ending. Other than that, I hope everyone has a great evening.